Court does call the case, People versus Bruce Larkins.
Good
morning, Your Honor. Joy Gaines, Senior Assistant Public Defender.
Judge, I would ask that the officer in charge, Martez Gibbs, be allowed to sit with me at the counsel table, and we are going to sequester the other witness.
All right. Our witnesses are ordered sequestered. Defendant and officer in charge may remain. You call your first witness.
Thank you. We call Arnold Bornoff.
Sir, please come forward and be sworn.
Swear affirm the testimony about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God. Do. See. Date and spell your first and last name.
Arnold Gornell, A-R-N-O-L-D-G-O-R-N-A-L-L.
You may inquire.
Thank you. Arnold, is there something that happened on July 3rd of this year that brings you to court today?
Yes, sir.
What was that? And did that happen? Where did that happen?
Complex where I live at.
Where is that? Where's that located?
In
That in,
Farms.
okay. And is that in the city of Ypsilanti, Michigan? Is that in Washtenaw County, Michigan? All right. So what happened when your life got threatened? How was your life threatened?
Well, I just come back from picking up deals from the Hope Center to bring back to the complex. Two for myself, one for my girlfriend, and two inbound people. I bring two for the last 7-8 years. Then I pulled in a third handicap parking spot. I went back and Lauren got the groceries out of the back because I turned around and started walking about 30 feet to the entrance to the building. This resident walked up to me and started mumbling something. I said, "What'd you say?" Says, "I told you never to speak to my wife again." I'm gonna lose my fucking brains out. Stepped back, jerked his shirt up, pulled a semi-automatic out of his waistband, shoved it under my throat for about 5-6 seconds, kept saying the same word over and over. Moved it from there and put the barrel on my forehead for another 5-6 seconds. Well, I figured I'm just a dead man, so I just kind of took my arm up like that and started walking away towards the entrance to the building. And he poked me in the back with it about 3 times.
Okay. Now you just made a gesture about what you did with your arm. Can you describe what that was?
I said, I think I took my arm after he removed the gun from my forehead. I think it went like that, maybe against it, I don't know.
Okay.
Just a turn. It was my back to be coming.
All right. Is the person who did this to you in the courtroom today? Can you point him out and describe him, please?
Said right over there, what you.
Act to the record reflect inquiry identification of the defendant, Bruce Larkins.
Without objection, record shall so reflect.
Arnold, I'm going to show you what I've marked as people's proposed exhibit number 1.
Yeah, that's a 90mm semi-automatic.
Okay. All right. And do you recognize, is that the firearm he used that day?
Yes.
Okay. We move people's proposed 1.
Any objection or what here?
No, thank you.
Exhibit 1 is admitted, and yes, you may approach.
Oh, sorry. Thank you.
Yeah, I know you didn't ask. All right.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Cross-examination.
Yes, thank you. Good morning, Mr. Gornell. It's my understanding that you and Mr. Larkins have resided in the same apartment complex for about 4 years. Is that correct?
I've been there 10 years. He's only been there 2 years.
So you believe he's only been there 2 years?
Pardon?
You believe he's only been there 2 years?
I believe so, 2021.
And would I be correct in stating that that is when you began to know him to have a relationship with Patricia, who lives in that building? Now, you stated that you pulled up to the complex and parked in a handicap space. Is that right? And would I be correct in stating that the vehicle that you pulled up in has a handicap sticker or a handicap license plate?
License plate.
And that handicap license, that vehicle belongs to your girlfriend, Paula Mahler, is that correct? And that's her handicap license plate?
Yes.
Now, about the time you came to know Mr. Larkins through Patricia Larkins, pardon me, through Patricia, would I be correct in stating that you and Patricia had a romantic relationship?
Sexual relationship. I had a girlfriend and she had a boyfriend. We just weren't getting what we wanted from each one.
And would I be correct in stating that your girlfriend was Miss Mahler, Paula Mahler?
Yes, it was.
And if not in 221, at some point within these past 2 years, between 2021 and now, Miss Patricia married Mr. Larkins. Is that correct?
I believe she told me she got married in December of 2020.
Now, would I be correct in stating that you and Miss Patricia Larkins, Mrs. Patricia Larkins, sexual relationship, as you described it, lasted at least 6 months?
About 5.5. Along the way, I found out she was seeing this man.
And during the time you had that relationship with her, isn't it correct that you courted her in some manner by buying her gifts?
I bought her flowers. I bought her set of pajamas in the bathroom, pair of earrings.
Would I be correct in, as also as part of a courting type gesture, that you also sometimes gave her money?
Never gave her money. Better, I took her grocery shopping on several occasions. She put $1,250 on my bridge card that I got from the state. Pandemic money that accumulated on it.
And it's sometimes during this relationship that you had, you would eat over her house, isn't that correct?
At breakfast every once in a while. Coffee. No dinners to speak of. Every once in a while on holidays, there's a big meal for 10 or 12 guests to show up.
Now, would I be correct that at some point after her marriage to Mr. Larkin, that you began to indicate that you believe that Mrs. Larkin owed you money?
Yes.
Okay. And on the date of July the 3rd of 2023, you actually had an encounter with Mrs. Larkin. Is that correct?
A discussion with her on the elevator.
Isn't it correct that you threatened her at the time with regard to the,
Threatened that woman in my life. I told her, if this is a threat, I said to her, I'm tired of listening to her con artist lies, and I said, I guess the only way I'm gonna get my $1,550 back, I'm gonna take the court and sue you and let a judge make the decision. Now, is that a threat?
is that a, is,
That's a statement.
that's a statement, okay. Isn't it correct that on occasions that you did say that you would have to do something about this? Vaguely?
Legally?
No, just generally, that you would say to her, that you said to her that you were gonna have to do something about this if she didn't pay you back your money.
I just explained to you. That takes her to court and sue her.
So my question is, did you ever use the words that I just said?
If you're asking me if I ever threatened this woman, no, I've never threatened this woman. I made a statement.
Okay, I'm gonna try to reframe my question because I don't believe you're understanding me. Isn't it correct that when you saw her on the elevator, this was not the first time that you had approached her with regard to this money?
No, it's not the first time. It's about the third time in 22 months.
And isn't it correct that on these at least 3 times that you approached her, that on at least one of the occasions you said, if I don't get my money back, I'm gonna do something about this?
No, I never made a statement. I made you the correct statement. What I said to her.
And would I be correct in stating that you have no written agreement with her with regard to paying back the money?
No. But I've got it all logged on the calendar book of 2020.
So on this day, after you had threatened Miss Larkin, isn't it correct that that's when you,
Beat yourself.
isn't it correct after you had made these threats to Mrs. Larkin in the elevator, that after that is when you saw Mr. Larkin, correct?
I didn't make any threats to that one.
Isn't it correct that after that encounter that you saw Mr. Larkin?
Went out front, his wife and I went out front door together, got on the elevator on my floor. She needed a shopping cart, unloaded groceries, and her car was parked right there. That's when I got in my car with Paula and left to go to the Hope Center. I was going approximately an hour before I got back. In the meantime.
And would I be correct in stating that when you got back, it was after you saw and had your encounter with Mrs. Larkin in the elevator?
I saw him 1 hour after I had an encounter with her. 6:10 p.m.
Now, when you saw Mr. Larkin, would I be correct in stating that Mr. Larkin used a cane?
What?
That he had a cane to walk with?
Yeah.
Am I correct in stating that Mr. Larkin always uses some sort of assistance or aid, like a cane or a scooter to get around?
I've seen him use several things.
And would I be correct in also stating that when you saw Mr. Larkin, that he had apparatus for breathing, for his oxygen tank?
All I know is that
In the past, would I be correct in saying that you've seen Mr. Larkin with oxygen?
not really. I've seen him use a tall walker, push cart walker, and a cane. I don't ever remember. I can't particularly say I've noticed him using oxygen. I've got a sign on the door that says oxygen.
So you've seen the sign on his apartment door that states oxygen in use? And would I be correct in stating that your girlfriend lived across the hall from
Yeah.
Mrs. Larkin while you were engaging in this
Yeah,
extra relationship, sexual relationship? And during that time, there was no sign about oxygen in use on Mrs. Larkin's door. Is that right?
no, there wasn't.
So that was only after Mr. Larkin moved in that that sign came up, correct?
Yes, I'd say so.
Would I be correct in stating that you do not use any aids to assist you with walking?
Not yet. Almost 82.
Would I also be correct in stating that you do not use oxygen to assist with your breathing?
No, I don't.
Would I be correct in stating that when Mr. Larkins approached you about your encounter with his wife earlier that day, that you were not pleased with his interaction with you?
Why would I be pleased when he just threatened to kill me?
Would I be correct in stating that on prior occasions, when approaching Mrs. Larkin with regard to the money you believe she owes you, that you called her or referred to her as something other than her name?
No, never.
Would I be correct in stating that you actually have, on at least 2 occasions, when asking about the money you believe you're owed, called her an Nigger?
No, I never.
Isn't it correct that you have also referred to Mr. Larkin in that manner?
I did one time, yes. He told me he was gonna beat my motherfucking ass on my, he called me up on my phone, told me that was the second time he threatened physical violence.
And isn't it correct that's because you have repeatedly threatened his wife, Mrs. Larkin, regarding this money that you say she owes you?
I've never threatened that woman with anything, other than a statement.
Sustained.
Take her-
Sustained. Go ahead.
And would I be correct in stating that when Mr. Larkin spoke to you about your encounter with his wife that day, that when he initially spoke to you, when he spoke to you initially, there was no weapon displayed.
There was what?
There was no weapon displayed when he initially spoke to you.
No, he displayed the weapon right after he got done saying, I told you never talk to my wife again, or I'll blow your motherfucking brains out. He stepped back, jerked his shirt up, pulled it out of his belt, shoved it up underneath my throat for about 5-6 seconds, then put the barrel on my forehead about 5 or 6 seconds.
Isn't it correct that after he said what he said to you, that you actually took steps closer to him?
Why would I do that?
And isn't
Not.
it correct that the weapon was not displayed until after you had made these steps towards him?
I never made any steps towards that man. He was doing the stepping towards me.
And isn't it correct that at that time, he was the person who needed the assistance with the walking, correct?
How was I to know that? He didn't look like he didn't have any problem walking up there where he walked from the building up to where I was at.
But he did walk with a cane, didn't he?
He had a cane. Yeah.
And you'd seen him before, you stated, with a walker.
I don't see that man about that often.
My question is, had
One
you,
apparatus for one day, the next day he might have a different apparatus.
but you had seen him before using a walker,
Yes,
and you'd seen him before using a scooter.
yes.
And may I have a moment, please?
You may.
Those are all the questions I have for you at this time. Thank you.
Sir, you may step down. Thank you.
We call Officer Marquez Gibbs.
Sir, please come forward to be sworn.
Solemnly swear affirm the testimony about to give the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. State and spell your first and last name.
Marquez Gibbs, Martezgibbs.
You may inquire.
Thank you. Mr. Gibbs, how are you employed?
Ypsilanti Police Department as police officer.
And were you working on July 3rd, 2023?
Yes.
Did you get dispatched out to 401 West Michigan to investigate a felonious assault?
Yes.
And when you got there, did you ultimately speak with someone named Bruce Larkins?
Yes.
And is that person in the courtroom today?
Yes.
Where is he?
He's right over there.
All right, thank you. And at some point, were you able to recover a firearm from Mr. Larkin's apartment?
Yes.
And you had an opportunity before the hearing today to look at people's exhibit number 1, that photo. Is that the firearm that was recovered?
Yes.
And did you inspect that firearm to see if it's a working, legitimate firearm?
Yes.
Was it loaded when you found it? Excuse me. When you found it, was it loaded?
Yes.
And thank you. No other questions.
All right. Cross-examination.
So Gibbs, you indicated that you found the firearm. Let me back up. Officer Gibbs, approximately what time did you arrive at Mr. and Mrs. Larkin's apartment?
Couldn't tell you. I can't recall. I have to look at the incident.
By chance, would you have your report with you to refresh your recollection?
Yeah. I'll come around.
I can, Your Honor, may I have a moment to,
You may.
Your Honor, may I approach, please?
You may.
Much. It's 1814.
I'm scared. Just let me know when you're ready.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
After looking at your report, is your recollection refreshed?
Yes.
So approximately what time did you arrive at Mr. Larkin's apartment? And when you arrived at Mr. Larkin's apartment, you indicated that you initially had an opportunity to speak to him. Is that correct?
Yes.
And he did in fact tell you that. I'll rephrase that.
Thank you.
Isn't it correct that based on your conversation with him, you were able to find a firearm in his apartment, correct?
Yes.
And at all times, Mr. Larkin was cooperative with you, is that right?
No.
Would I be correct in saying that Mr. Larkin was upset about the situation that occurred with he and his wife? Yes. But he did not lie to you about having a firearm. Isn't that correct?
No.
And isn't it correct that he even told you he had a CPL?
Indeed, yes.
And you were able to confirm that he has a CPS?
Yes.
So he is licensed to carry, and you were able to find the weapon without any challenges. Okay. When you arrived, would I also be correct in stating that you were able to observe that Mr. Larkin had on
I put the name, yes, and a warning gate.
thank you. So you were able to see that he was utilizing or had recently utilized having to have oxygen.
Yes.
And would I be correct in that you also were able to see that he needed aids to assist him with walking?
Yes.
So you saw his cane, is that correct? And did you see his walker?
No, didn't see a walker.
Did you see a motorized scooter?
No, didn't see that. Once we were in the hallway though, so.
And when you arrived at 6:14 p.m., would I be correct in stating there was not a firearm on Mr. Larkin's person?
Correct.
And that you at no time saw a firearm on Mr. Larkin's person?
Correct.
But you were able to see that he had, as a person licensed to carry, that he had the appropriate equipment to carry if he chose to, correct?
Yes.
Your Honor, may I have one moment, please?
You may.
Right, thank you. Those are all my questions. Thank you, Your Honor.
Any redirect?
No.
All right, thank you. You may step down. Any further witnesses for the people?
No.
Any witnesses for the defense?
No.
Move bind over.
Response?
Your Honor, we object to the bind.
Based upon the, don't need argument, based upon the testimony in this case, the court would find that the people have shown by probable cause that an offense was committed and that the by probable cause that the defendant committed the offense. Therefore, the defendant is bound over trial on this charge. Ms. Gang.
Your Honor, we acknowledge receipt of the information laid as legal on the record, and at this time, my client wishes to stand.
Defendant. Waiving formal reading, standing mute, court will enter a not guilty plea. Pretrial will be set for
September 12th at 1:30 p.m. with Judge Conley.
September 12th, 2023, 1:30 before Judge Conley.
Thank you.
Bond in this matter will continue. Thank you. That's everything there. All right, which one? Even there's two cases. How many witnesses are on?
This preliminary hearing focused only on whether the prosecution presented enough evidence for the case to proceed to trial, not on determining the defendant's guilt. The prosecution relied on eyewitness testimony, the recovery of a firearm, and responding officer testimony to argue that probable cause existed for a felonious assault charge. The defense attempted to challenge the witness's credibility by highlighting prior personal disputes, alleged financial disagreements, and possible motives for bias, while also emphasizing the defendant's physical limitations and lawful firearm permit. After reviewing the testimony and evidence, the judge concluded that the legal standard for probable cause had been met and ordered the case to proceed to trial. At the trial stage, both sides will have the opportunity to present additional evidence, question witnesses in greater detail, and challenge each other's claims before any final determination of guilt or innocence is made.